Right. If you're on the live stream, can you tell me if the audio's okay? Come on. Come on. Okay, good. Okay. As I was saying before, next every time I'll do a video, I'll say what I've eaten so far in the day or whatever. So far today, I had for breakfast like satsuma orange, 2 bananas, a couple of dates with almond butter, and some rice cakes with peanut butter on. For lunch, I had a trail mix that I make myself, which is pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and raisins. And then I'll have porridge over the top, and while I'm cooking the porridge, I put in frozen fruits like pineapple or mango, and then on top I have dissected coconut with some coconut nectar or something like that. That dog, unbelievable. And yeah, that's what I've had today so far. Also, this new thing I've been doing is instead of buying a supplement, I cut up ginger and turmeric and stuff like that into like pills. So like a turmeric pill and a ginger pill, because they're extremely healthy for you. Well, it's my grandma's dog, and it's very annoying. It barks all day. It's a Chihuahua with a Jack Russell mix. Can't really be called a dog, I don't think. Anyway, oh, I lost the questions that were on here before. What were the questions before? Someone asked me if when I was ill I had like shaky hands or muscle twitches or something like that. I had very shaky hands. I'm not sure why that was, but as for muscle twitches, no, I don't think I had that many muscle twitches, to be honest. I had muscle pain. Don't know if I had that many muscle twitches. I was thinking about doing a video talking about the most important thing for recovery. And the most important thing for recovery is if you're in a toxic environment, the most important thing you can do is to move from that toxic environment. So say you have toxic family members that don't believe that you're ill, and all they do is cause you stress during the day, every day, over and over again. I think that's probably the most important thing to avoid when recovering. Obviously, after that, I believe it's sleep and then diet. But I definitely think that if I'd never been able to get out of my toxic situation, I don't know, it may have been a very different story. Then I wanted to do a video talking about food. Where did I get my food? How did I acquire my food? Food on a budget. And what I was going to say for the food on a budget was places like, for example, Aldi, you can buy 100 bananas for like £11–12. Obviously, you don't have to eat 20 bananas a day, but I'm just saying that it's a very staple food that you can add to your daily life that is very cheap. Also, they do loads of good produce nowadays. I think it's more important that you stick to a non-inflammatory food diet, whole food diet, than, for example, being organic for everything. How are you doing? I was doing keto but decided against it. I'm pretty much paleo, at least 14 servings of fruit and veg a day. Butternut squash, quinoa, sweet potatoes, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm personally not a big fan of keto because for example, why do you need to be keto? The body uses carbs, fats, proteins. Why would you cut one of the main... Sorry, I'm all stuffed up. Why would you cut one of the main macronutrients out of your diet completely? Like, for example, you said butternut squash, quinoa, sweet potatoes. Why would you cut that out of your diet? It makes no sense. Say you lived like 300 years ago. You're not going to be on a ketogenic diet and go, sorry, I can't have that. I can't have sweet potatoes. It will knock me out of ketosis. Yeah, keto, I don't know. There are some studies that say it's good. For example, people with epilepsy, ketogenic diets can reduce the epileptic fits. Oh my god, that dog. But generally, I don't see the point. I think, for me, now I have a quite balanced diet of fats, carbs, and proteins. Oh my god. What was some of the other questions? There was someone called it E something. I honestly feel more fresh for it, adding the carbs in. It's so much less restrictive, and I'm getting so much more vitamins and minerals in. This feels right. Yeah, exactly. Why would you cut those foods out? They're extremely healthy for you. Why would you cut something out that's extremely healthy for you? One sec. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. What's this? Come on. Come on. I wanted you to see the perpetrator, but he doesn't want to come in. He knows it's a trap. But no, as I was saying, yeah, you're obviously getting a lot more vitamins and minerals that way. Well, I don't see the point in ketosis, to be honest. Hi James, is there any difference between adrenal fatigue and CFS? People have varying reasons as to why they get chronic fatigue. But I think that in most cases with CFS is they have stressed adrenals. That's my opinion. Do you work? If not, do you think you could ever go back to work? Oh yeah, I could definitely go back to work. At the moment, I'm doing 4 days a week at college, and I'm looking into getting an apprenticeship soon. I was potentially looking at going at uni, but I'm just sick of, like, I'm 27. I just want to get on with my life. I'm really hoping to get an apprenticeship in something. But no, definitely, I want a full-time job. Hi James, how did you deal with leaving school? I find it really hard, but no other option. At the time, it was a blessing, really. Dr. Sarah Myhill recommends keto for CFS. Well, Sarah Myhill, you know, I took some of her advice, but honestly, when you have someone like her, I can't do this live stream with this dog. Shut up. Right. She recommends keto. So she's pretty much saying that to recover, you ideally should be on a ketogenic diet. I don't think that's true. There's too many people that have recovered from plant-based diet or high-carb diet. You know? If she said Sarah Myhill recommends that you go gluten-free, dairy-free and stuff, I'd be like, exactly. Everyone that I used to watch has been gluten-free, dairy-free. Not everyone's been. I don't think I ever saw a ketogenic diet recovery story from CFS. Keto can help some people. The theory is that they struggle to get energy from carbs and sugar, so metabolizing fat is a more efficient way of getting energy. My opinion to that is just eat more fat. Don't cut out carbs completely. Just cut out the shitty carbs, you know? Do you feel anxiety much? I remember you mentioned it when you were recovering. I had very severe anxiety when I was recovering. I don't really have anxiety much anymore. Do you recommend melatonin for sleep? No. Your body creates melatonin. The more you supplement, the more your body won't bother making it. You need to kind of sort your body out, otherwise you'll just be taking it forever. But of course, you should just try things yourself. What age did you get sick? I probably started getting sick around age 13. Crashed age 17. Crashed. What do you think about antiviral drugs? I don't think drugs are the answer to overcoming things like this. Obviously, if you have a virus, like say you're doing all the right things and you still have a problem with a viral infection, I think the antiviral drug may be beneficial. I can't say. I haven't experienced it myself. Currently 3 AM in Australia, had a viral infection and conjunctivitis for a week and been coughing all night and can't sleep. Yeah, it really sets you back. I remember there was a few times when I caught like a flu or something and it set me back a few weeks. I've had a lot of bananas and almond butter and I cut back on animal protein by about 50%. It's helped a bit. For males who crash after sex, I've learned that taking enough niacin to cause a flush will greatly reduce the post-orgasm crash. Yeah, obviously if you have a partner, it's a lot more difficult, but when I was recovering I tried to stick to NoFap as much as possible. Niacin. Also zinc, maybe? Do you think there's a major difference between CFS that comes on slowly over a period of months versus cases, sudden onset overnight? I don't think there's that much of a difference. I think that for you if you have CFS that's like come on all of a sudden, you've obviously been stressed up until that point, or your body's immune system's lowered to allow it to happen. I had some quite sudden symptoms, but honestly, if I look back now, my health was deteriorating for a few years before it happened. Hi James, I watched all your videos and think what you're doing is great. My question is, whilst you had CFS, did you get regular colds and flus? Yeah, I don't think I ever had a time where I didn't have a cold. I was always had a runny nose and a sneeze in my head off all the time when I was ill. I'm 2 weeks off antidepressants medication. My emotions feel all over the shop. Any tips? I already do meditation. I guess you just kind of have to bear with it and ride the wave. Obviously, I'd hate to say get off antidepressants if that's something you feel you need, but my personal opinion is I didn't want to be on anything. I got off all sleep medications and everything when I was trying to recover. Bit of an unusual question, but did you ever have days when you didn't want to mentally rest, meditate when you needed a break? Most days I'm disciplined, but then some days I don't, where I just can't do it. Yeah. Yeah, like some days I didn't meditate. Go with how you feel. Like, it's not always necessary, you know. Just being calm in yourself is, to me, meditation. Hi, hench herbivore. James, I work as a fireman. Because of being called out at any hour during the day or night, it's difficult to get a properly sleep routine. Is staying in this career going to hinder my recovery? It's probably not the best career to have when you're trying to recover from a chronic illness, but I'm guessing that if you're still in the fire service, you haven't crashed yet. I think that getting your diet in order and your sleep and everything is obviously going to help you. It's hard to say, you know, because, you know, you've asked me that question, but I have no idea what your background is with, like, your illness and everything, so only you know how you truly feel in your job. Do you feel like it's hindering your recovery? Hi James, I'm trying to meditate, or even trying to do nothing at all. My brain always starts focusing on the body. I can't seem to relax. It's as if my brain is always in panic mode. Okay, there's like, my first question to you is, like, how was your sleep? Like, undoubtedly, I bet your sleep's affected for sure. When I had periods when I couldn't relax, I was in a toxic environment, so I had people contributing to my situation where I couldn't relax. I had very tight, like, trapezius neck muscles. I think that was due to stress. My diet was inflammatory. My sleep was awful. I had insomnia. All these different things impacted not being able to relax. There's a lot about niacin on the POIS forum. It's got something to do with inflammation. Okay. Writing in a journal is good for depression. Write positive things about yourself. It can only help. When you have fibroid pain, was it all the time or periods of pain? I would say that most of the time I was in some sort of pain, but there were periods where it was incredibly heightened, and I'm not sure why that was. Nice to see you as well, Paul. I didn't expect you on here. So cool to see more people reach your channel. Have you ever gone on a 3-day fruit fast? This will help everyone greatly. You know what? I would actually recommend a lot of people on this channel to do 3 days of raw just to see how they feel. Obviously eat enough and stay hydrated, but I think that if you've come from a long time of a diet that's not working for you, just a 3-day gap where you just limit your exposure to all kinds of foods that are problematic is really beneficial. And more often than not, if you're after those 3 days you eat, like, I don't know, a piece of toast or something, you're going to feel some kind of a difference in your body. I'm feeling 5 out of 10 and I'm currently working at a part-time job. Can I recover while I'm working if I do everything right? There's only one way to find out. Because if you're feeling 5 out of 10, you haven't fully crashed and you're able to do that job, that's a good sign. And I think if you're, all the times you're outside of work, you're really dedicating yourself to recovery, it is possible that you could recover. But again, it's different for everyone. Do you drive? Yes, I drive. Yo, I know you've discussed what you're thinking about doing with all the knowledge and experience you've gained, but you don't want to sell useless products to people. You should definitely write a book. You know, it's just getting round to doing it. I was thinking about doing a thorough guide, like getting to the root causes, you know, not telling some people to, you got to change your diet and stuff, just going to the root cause, like what got you here in the first place. You know, there's so many differences that get you there. It's like, do you have toxic family and friends? Do you have toxic thoughts about yourself? You know, do you have low self-esteem? Obviously your lifestyle matters, of course, but I think that a lot of the time, diet is essential. It's so important what you put in your body, but when you have negative self-talk and you have stress in your life, it just hits you so much harder. It's why you have people that, I don't know, they seem to be unaffected by what they're doing, like in terms of, I don't know, smoking or drugs or eating whatever they want. But I really wanted to get to the root cause and start from scratch. Question yourself, are you happy with your life even beforehand, before you got ill? Or were you just going along with the crowd? Just absolutely everything. I'll have to get around to it someday. I know you've made videos on this, but my suicidal feelings have hit a new low. I'm really excited about life, but feeling like this for 7 years at 17 makes me feel so no hope, even during recovery. Okay, well, you say your suicidal feelings have hit a new low, but you're excited about life. Like, when you're suicidal, you really, really do not give a shit about life. You're not excited at all. You can't wait till it's over. So you mean you're really depressed? You know, firstly, I would have loved to have been in the position you're in at 17. 17 was my beginning phase. I didn't get to where you're at until I was 25. So understand, you're hitting this many problems at the age of 17. If you can overcome this by, I don't know, say the age of 20, imagine what your life's going to be like afterwards, all the things you've been through. People at 17 haven't been what you've been through. You'll look back and go, I've grown so much as a person from this experience. And you'll make so much more of your life, and you go in a direction you actually want to go in. A lot of people at your age are going to college because that's what everyone else is doing. They're doing what everyone else is doing, and they end up in the 30s and 40s and go, what the fuck, I don't even know who I am. I think there's a lot of benefits that you need to look at. I know it's very hard. Like, if you told me that when I was your age, and I would have told you to fuck off. But I think it is important that you understand that there are some benefits. Look at the good side. You know, you're here and you know there's a way of getting better. How long did it take you to get your sleep in order? I went to bed at 9:30, couldn't sleep till 11, and woke up at 2 and back at 4. It took me 6 months, maybe more. Sleep was an ongoing problem for me, for sure. Like, my worst, I was sleeping 1 hour a night, if that. I was prescribed Zopiclone, which is a really powerful anti-insomnia drug. I don't recommend it, but sleep is something that took the longest to figure out of everything else. As for going to bed at 9:30 and not being able to sleep, don't stress yourself out if you can't sleep. The fact that you're in bed with, like, in the dark, unwinding, is more than good enough. Understand that your body will regulate itself over time. The worst thing you can do, though, is go to sleep at 11, wake up at 2, look at your phone, scroll through, and then go back to sleep at 4 o'clock when you know. The worst thing you can do is go to technology. What I used to do is I had an old iPod where it was just black and white, and it wasn't lighted screen or anything, and I'd just put it on the book I was reading at the time, and in the night, if I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd just go over, put my headphones on, and just press it, and then just start listening, and then chill out. Don't give myself a hard time if I can't go to sleep. It will sort itself out eventually. I believed in my body. And yeah, that's what I did. Just don't give yourself a hard time. Don't get upset if you can't sleep. It takes a while to fix sleep. I'm also a highly, highly analytical thinker, and even after years of counseling, I can't seem to calm my system or my mind. Like I said to the guy before, there's so many different reasons why that is. You know, I don't know enough about like where you're at right now. Oh, what's happened there? Wait there. Yeah, so I'd need to know more about your story, how you've got to where you've got to. And you said you have been doing this 7 years, and you're 17, means you started at 10. So I guess, I don't know. Are you happy with the situation you're at? How are your family and friends? Do they believe you? Do your parents believe that you are ill? I eat a vegan plant-based diet, but sometimes struggle not getting enough veggies. What are your thoughts on seeing a nutritionist? Obviously, if you have the money to spare, you could see a nutritionist, but at the end of the day, they won't tell you anything particularly interesting, I don't think, a lot of time. You know, I was going to see a nutritionist, and then I decided to see a psychologist and just make sure my diet was healthy, and it worked for me. I didn't need to pay someone to tell me how to eat healthy. As for eating more veggies, there are ways you can do that. Like, for example, you could steam broccoli so much that you can, like, squash it with a fork and then put it in like a pasta sauce, stuff like that. I have POTS-like symptoms and sleep fine when I crash, but when I get a bit better, it's almost impossible to sleep. Maybe it's because I increase my activity levels too quickly. Possibly. Yeah, lacrosse ball. Yeah, on a wall or on the floor. That's something I recommend as well. If you have problems where you feel like engaged all the time, you could have really, like, bad posture. Posture is a huge one. The way you breathe is huge. Like, if you're breathing through your chest, check your breathing if you're someone that can't relax. So, Esme Adele, where do you breathe? Do you breathe from your chest? Are you a mouth breather? If so, you need to look at some breathing techniques, because that's huge to have, feeling calm. I think I was reading the other day about your panic receptors being in your chest, so when people are breathing in their chest, it causes them to have more anxiety in general and stuff like that. When you say POT symptoms, did you have a racing heartbeat? Yeah, sometimes I feel my heartbeat in my head, even just laying down. I'm finding eating in general really hard because I feel so sick all the time and my stomach is so slow. What is your diet? If you're eating loads of animal products and not much fiber, that could be a cause. If you're eating loads of gluten, and no fiber, that could be a reason as well. Have you had a history of antibiotics and not addressed with probiotics afterwards? So many reasons. Obviously, diet's a huge one. Yes, slightly. When I stand up and after a few minutes walking around, I get lightheaded. Yeah, that's common. When you say recommend a 3-day raw diet, what exactly can we eat? What about butternut squash, sweet potato, etc.? Like, what the guy was saying is that he thinks that people could benefit from a 3-day raw food diet. And I'm pretty much saying it wouldn't be a bad idea for most people, you know? A lot of people come to my channel, they're used to eating the standard American diet or whatever. They are going to feel benefits, probably a lot of detoxing as well. But obviously, I don't believe in any diet where you cut out things like butternut squash and sweet potato and stuff, because they are healthy. Do you have any tips for severe panic? Weird thing is, physically I'm not that bad, but mentally I'm near death. I think that goes with your general health. It's a difficult one to say, because when I used to have my panic attacks, it was physical and mental. That was near the beginning. I used to get panic attacks out of nowhere. I've never been a person that was particularly anxious, but when I was getting more and more ill, I got more severe and panicky all the time, easily startled, and I think that goes back to the adrenal glands. But obviously, in your life, how are you feeling about your life in general, where it's going? There's so many things to address. Is it right to take incredibly slow to begin recovery, as in sleep the day whenever you feel dead or in pain, or should I maintain a routine of meditation? No. Don't do things if it makes you feel worse. If you feel worse and you're like, I really don't want to meditate, you don't have to do it. Just relax. Do whatever feels natural to you. Live more like an animal, you know? I would look at my dog and he'd be just chilling out all the time, and I'd be like, maybe I should do the same. Listen to your body, not your mind. That's what I always say. A little tip for depression: some foods lower MAO, giving more free serotonin and dopamine. Apples, onions, berries, grapes, green tea, oregano, some of the sweet spices among stars. All beneficial things to eat. The more you eat of these kind of foods, the better it is, I say. Have you heard of mycotherapy? Yeah, like, I tell people, change your lifestyle, change your diet, change the situation you're in. You know, have a look at everything. And if you want to add mycotherapy onto the side, do that. Don't go into mycotherapy expecting a full recovery. I spoke to a girl once and she said she achieved recovery. I asked her 3 months later, she had crashed. You know, it's not addressing the root cause. And that's an overall way of your living your life. The way you're thinking in your mind, the way you feel about yourself, the way you're living in your life, the way the people that you have in your life, you know, if you have toxic relationships and stuff. So many different things. Play League and live stream, you make money from donations, no problem. Plus Razor sponsorship, just get good at League. I think I'm kind of past that stage. I used to get paid a lot for playing World of Warcraft. I used to play with people that streamed as well. And, you know, the time dedicated that goes into playing these games, to get to a good level like that, it takes a lot of effort, you know, and I'm really trying to get a job that I'm interested in, and it's going to take up most of my time. But you know, it's a shame I didn't stream. Well, I couldn't stream. My internet wasn't fiber optic back then. But yeah, I used to play professional gaming like that. Well, make money from it, decent money as well. How old are you? I'm 27 now. Please don't kill that dog. Don't worry, I won't. Esme Elder, I had a sick, slow digestion feeling last year, and Bentonine HLSI helped me overcome that. Came off it after a few months and was fine. Maybe look into it. I have no idea what that is, so I won't comment. Did you have any food intolerances? Of course. Gluten probably being the main one. Dairy. I was a bit sensitive to things like oats and stuff. I don't know whether that was because they were contaminated with gluten. Yeah, of course. I had a very bland diet to begin with. What's an advantage to stress? You never have to make your bed since you're always in it. That's true. Potato saved my life. Exactly. I did the potato technique. I think that's really, really beneficial. Learning to breathe from your stomach and through your nose and just big, deep breaths and everything is really beneficial. I contemplate suicide every night. I want to go to college and do things. It's not that I want to die, but I don't want to keep living like this. And if I don't recover by September, I'm back to college. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Saying I have to do this by September. Relax. Just, you know what? Go and read. Go and get the audio book for The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Just accept the moment you're in. Understand that you have these 11 months to fully focus on recovery. You know, a lot of people in this chat would love to have that. Some of them have jobs, careers, marriages, children. You're in a good position in that way to be able to focus on yourself like I did. It's very beneficial to be able to have that time to yourself. You can definitely do that. If not, you can definitely get a majority of the way there and then keep those good habits up while you're at college. Just don't dwell on the negative side of things, because it doesn't actually achieve anything. You know, by dwelling on what you're talking about, it's not helped you get to where you want to be ready for September. Do you have any idea about the downward flowing energy while recovering from broken metabolism from chronic low-calorie diets? No. I know that, you know, you can really damage your metabolism. Like my mum, oh my god, she's on like 400 calories a day and she doesn't lose weight. It's a real thing, like messing up your metabolism. That's why I recommend is I have some videos saying during recovery, don't focus on your exterior, focus on how you feel first and foremost. And for me, I was eating a load, like a lot of food, sometimes 5,000 calories a day. And that made me feel more grounded. It made me feel better. And you know, I had a long time where I'd eat one meal a day, and sometimes not at all. You know, I found it very easy to do a 7-day water fast, in like considering how I'd feel to do that now. And I went for a refeed period where I was just hungry all the time. I just wanted to eat everything. And I listened to my body. I gained weight. I didn't care. I was focusing on how I felt. I mean, I felt better doing so. And I lost the weight later on. But no, I don't know what you mean by the downward flowing energy while recovering from broken metabolism. James, the person who said after they get a bit better from crash they can't sleep. Optimal Health Clinic says this is because energy is coming back to the nervous system, so they need to work on calm. Yeah, that could be the reason as well. I remember I went through similar periods where I felt like I was buzzed after being calm for a while. I think you just have to stick with the things you know are working for you. My digestion was a bit of a mess at the time, had lactose intolerance, so cut it out. And for IBS, I was prescribed medication which left my digestion slow. Interesting what you say about negative people around you during recovery. My parents are wonderful, but they don't really understand my illness, and it's bringing me down here. So, my parents, I was going to say that, like, generally they accepted, they knew something was wrong with me, but they didn't understand it. I think they just thought I was a bit depressed, and I'm like, I can barely get up the stairs. I have less energy than my grandma. Don't you understand this? And they'll never understand it until they feel it themselves. My mother-in-law is paying for me to see a functional medicine doctor. I hope that she can help, but then I know when I follow your advice, I feel a little bit better. A lot of time people feel like when they spend a lot of money on a doctor that it's going to reap some and tell them something mysterious that they don't already know. I think that they will have some wise knowledge for you to share, like for them to share with you, but don't expect them to be the key to unlocking all your problems. You know, hence herbivore. As a nutritionist, I can tell you that Whole Foods vegan diet has one knife that anarchidonic acid, a bigger trigger for depression of the average omnivorous diet. Personally, I felt better on a plant-based diet, for sure. Any tips for joint pain? For me, joint pain really came from, I swear, like my diet. So diet. I don't know what your diet is at the moment, but if you still have joint pain, maybe it's just general fatigue in general fatigue in general. Just if you are feeling quite shitty at the moment, or your sleep's bad, you know, sleep's where you're doing most of your repairing. So if your sleep's off, you know, you're going to have a whole host of problems. Sleep is such a huge important thing to health. James, I really feel you on the sleep thing. Trying not to get discouraged by how long it's taking to sleep consistently. It takes a long time. You know, I had a poor sleeping habits for years. You know, you have to realize that it didn't take a year to get there. It didn't take a day to get there, sorry. Did psychotherapy cure your anxiety or improving your health in general? No. I wouldn't say that psychotherapy cured my anxiety. I don't think anxiety works like that. I don't think being not anxious is a mindset. I think it's coming from a good foundation, a solid foundation of majority of things. It's going to be your body's healthy, you're sleeping well, your diet's good, you feel like you're heading in the right direction in life, you feel like you're achieving goals, and all these different things build your confidence and your overall health of your body. I think it's general improving your health that changes anxiety the most. And that's coming from someone that didn't want to leave the house for years. You know, I would hear the letterbox go and just be on edge. Now, don't really have anxiety much at all. Obviously, if I'm meeting someone new or something, I get a bit of anxiety, but it doesn't stop me doing anything. James, you the man. Thanks, Casey. Yeah, me too with sleep. Being consistent with all changes for over 6 months now. My sleep is still pretty bad. Yeah, it takes a long time. And sometimes you have to add in other things to your routine and look at what you're doing and just kind of modify it a bit. But early nights and winding, stuff like that. If you haven't already listened to Sean Stevenson's podcast with Rich Roll, it's really important. Do we become stronger than before when we completely recover from broken metabolism due to stress or the chronic? As for chronic calorie restriction, listen to the go and check out the Great Starvation Study. Your thoughts on overt foods such as avocado, nuts, seeds? I eat loads of them. I eat loads of nuts and seeds. No, I'm eating plant-based vegan, never on antibiotics. Must be stress-related then. My stomach nausea symptoms are so extreme. Well, when you have anxiety or stress and stuff, and you're stuck in fight or flight, and you said you can't relax, your blood pulls to your limbs, so it hinders digestion. A lot of IBS problems are actually caused by, you know, stress and stuff like that. Obviously, diet plays a role, but Stress is a huge one as well. Stress is a huge thing when it comes to everything, is what I believe. Searching at CFS forums can be beneficial. Sometimes I found that people in forums are so toxic. I found your Phoenix Rising account. Some people didn't even believe you were recovered. I hate those forums. It's like they want to be ill. I don't understand. They're not very positive. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't waste your time. Find recovery stories on YouTube and listen to people's first-hand accounts. That's what I say. Don't just listen to me. Go and listen to other people that are recovered. They'll have lots of things to say as well that are beneficial. You mentioned it's lucky to be able to dedicate all your time to recovery. I'm in this situation. Only 22 and my mum is helping out with some shopping and cooking. Really allows me to listen to my body. That's huge. It really is helpful. I feel so sorry for these single mums that come to me. I'm like, holy shit. I can't give you advice. I've never been in that situation. Hence, herbivore. For joint pain, eat as much whole plant foods as possible, particularly dark leafy greens and lemons. Balance omega-3s and 6s. Yeah, for sure. That's a big one. Don't have, like, ages ago when I was ill, I used to use a lot of olive oil and didn't really consider, I didn't even know about it, the omega-3 6 balance in the body. But yeah, that's an important one. That's why I tell people to just kind of ditch the refined oils, because it really does help in balancing that without you even realizing. And eat things like hemp, that has omega-3. If that doesn't solve it, considering cutting out nightshades for a time to see if you're one of the 5% of people that would benefit. There may be more nightshades than you realize, so research it. I would listen to Hench Herbivore. He's the nutritionist. You know, yeah, there are people that don't do well on nightshades. Luckily, I'm not one of those people. What indicators did you have to show you were ready to return back to normal life? I definitely went through a major healing since June, but remain exhausted when I tried to return to work. It was waking up refreshed was probably the biggest one. And also, this is a test that I used to do, is if I could grip something, like squeeze my fist and not get fatigued, that was a sign as well. I'm not sure why that is. Apparently, if you can't squeeze, it shows a stressed nervous system or something like that. But when I was at my illest, if I'd done that and squeezed, I would feel like I needed sleep. It was that bad. When did your doctor cancel out before they said you had CFSME? It was like the 7th doctor I went to. And when she said, yeah, it's probably ME, we can't do anything about it anyway, I was just like, why am I even bothering? And the more I slow down, the more symptoms get worse. It feels like impossible to rest as I'm feeling more ill. Also, with breathing, I find deep breathing makes me sick, dizzy. It's strange. No, you need. I wouldn't say that means you need to keep your breaths really short. You need to. I'm not entirely. I can't give you an answer to that, but if you're stuck in fight or flight and you're a very stressed person and you're slowing down, you get that pent-up wide feeling and you feel like you have to move. So is that what you're talking about? Sometimes my digestion is slower. I do eat a vegan whole foods diet. Maybe try like how much do you drink? Are you hydrated? Watch Dr. Berger YouTube video about dream fatigue body. Very interesting about wide mind, always getting distracted, thinking about too many things at once. Yeah, that's beneficial as well. Like Esme Adele, like, are you on social media and like stuff? Do you have Instagram? Have you got a mobile phone? Are you always looking at it? Like all these kind of habits don't help. I can't handle much fruit. Would a starch shake starch-based work also in healing my issues? Yeah, for sure. As long as you don't have a nightshade problem, like Henry Shovell said. Classic symptom of adrenal fatigue. Did you get your cortisone saliva test or blood test? If so, do you recommend? No, I didn't. Doctors wouldn't give me it. Sleep is huge. I know I have been getting to bed lately around 11 PM and I notice a difference. I need to get back to early nights. It really is a big deal. Hello. Hi, Fazine. I have this weird thing ever since a kid where I rock my head back and forward in my sleep, but as my fatigue is constant, I find myself wanting to rock my head constantly, and I think it stops me relaxing. Wow, I don't know what to say to that, Esme. I've never heard of that. What are your thoughts on rebounding? I actually used to do rebounding. I think it's better than nothing. It is very hard to track progress. It really is. You just have to understand that your good habits are never going to hinder you in recovery and just keep with it. How do you know where you're at? The only way I really knew where I was at when I would, for example, when I got really frustrated and had a pizza and went back to my old diet. And I felt like utter shit. I felt like I'd taken 10 steps back. So the only time I really knew I was heading in the right direction is when I took a step back and towards the end when I was feeling like sleeping better and stuff like that. Like, Farzine, how's your sleep? Are you sleeping better? If so, that's a good tracking, a good way to track your progress. Did you ever wake up with sore muscles like a Charlie horse or something in your sleep? Did you ever get restless leg syndrome? All the time. Is where you want to kick your legs all the time? Okay, this is something I can't say what got rid of it for me, but it kind of just went. I don't know what it was. I think magnesium helps, but I can't be too sure. Yes, I had restless leg syndrome. I have mild sleep apnea. I think it's disrupting my restorative sleep, but docs won't send me to the sleep clinic. That's annoying. Sleep apnea is where you have a blockage in the nose, right? I had so many sinus problems during recovery. Sometimes I couldn't sleep because my nose was so blocked. And then I'd have to breathe through my mouth, which would make my mouth really dry. And it would just be miserable. I'd hate going to sleep because of it. It really made my insomnia worse. But I know that when I stick to my diet, after 2-3 months, my sinus problems greatly improved. On the road to recovery, I have a gut feeling that I will be stronger physically and mentally once I recover from calorie restriction. Oh yeah, for sure. Calories are your energy, and if you've been in a state where you've not ate many calories for a very long time, your body's going to be very slow, all the processes. You know, what does an athlete do when they train harder? They eat more. My friends say I snort and hold my breath during my sleep. That's definitely not going to help. Fixing that's going to be maybe try and find some ways of naturally dealing with it. I don't know if there are. Can't say I have much advice for that because I've not really heard of it. Well, I have heard of it, I just don't know enough about it. But obviously a sleep clinic sounds like the right idea. I get so much fibro pain in my back and arms from nightshades. See, you really have to narrow down your diet, what works for you, because it's like a Rubik's Cube. Nightshades can be a problem with someone with fibromyalgia. Some people, it may be a source of good nutrition, James, I wake up at night because of urination. I drink too much water, my body wants hydration, but when I wake up around 5 AM, I can't sleep again. I personally would get up at 5 o'clock and start going to bed earlier. That's my opinion. That's what I did for a long time. Go with how your body's feeling. You know, just because you can't get back to sleep at 5 o'clock doesn't mean you failed. You don't have to sleep to 7 o'clock to make sure your sleep's good. Just rest in bed, listen to an audiobook, rest while reading a book. Resting is good enough as well. You know, you don't have to be sleeping all the time. Resting is good enough, you know. Look at dogs. They rest all day, and the time you say walkies, they're ready to go all the time. Been working on my sleep lately. Went from got to bed at 9 AM, getting up around 6 PM or later, to now getting up at 11 AM. Only issue is I'm getting 7 hours, but I really do better on 9, 10 hours a night. When you sort your sleep by going to bed earlier, you'll need less of it. But if you are sleeping 7 hours, there's no harm in resting for those extra hours. Well, frequent urination, it depends. There can be problems associated with that. Isn't that a diabetes symptom? Or you may just be drinking loads and loads of water. Yeah, no one seems to know about the weird rocking thing I do. It's such a strong feeling and I find it distressing. I'm thinking it might be adrenaline stress thing I'm used to all night as a kid. Possibly. Why do you think you are in that situation? What started it off, Esme? When can you remember this starting off for you? What put you in this kind of zone you're in? Or don't you know? Do you recommend sleeping during the day? Some say it's good for you, others say it disrupts night sleep. I personally felt, when I had naps in the day for like half an hour, I felt so depressed, borderline suicidal when I woke up. I didn't know why. I just rested during the day and tried to stay awake. Psychotherapy, I didn't help with my anxiety too. I totally agree with you. Did you have days where you didn't use technology at all? I feel so much better off with technology. Me too. Even today, I feel better off it. Some days, but it was very hard to do because I was very isolated. And now and again, I would watch things like Carl Pilkington. It would make me laugh, and it was worth it, you know? Just having a laugh, because otherwise I just didn't laugh. I didn't even move my mouth to talk or anything, you know? Because I wasn't really seeing anyone other than my grandma. Yeah, I'm falling asleep without pill, but as far as activity, my capacity every day is different. One day 5 minutes, one day 30. It fluctuates, so I'm getting better. I don't know. Well, that's definitely an improvement if you're sleeping without pills. Is it compulsory to take B12 on a vegan diet? What's your opinion on eating boiled eggs for the same while going meat-free? John Rose was speaking about this recently, that some people are so adapted to getting their what's the cholesterol from food sources that to go cold turkey can be a problem for some people. And he says eggs can be a way of like weaning people off. So potentially, I can't say yes or no because it really depends on the person. If I say, all right, you're asking, is it compulsory to go B12 on a vegan diet? The studies say yes. But I have a suspicion that when I was doing fermented kefir drinks every day, my B12 was through the roof, and I didn't even know what B12 supplements were at that point. I think there's potentially other ways of getting it, and I think fermented stuff may be something that gives it. But the studies say B12 is recommended for a vegan diet. Did you find yourself being constantly thirsting, like now how much you drink you had to dry mouth? That's a symptom of... I did actually go through phases of this, and it's a symptom of diabetes and blood sugar problems, but I never had those problems come up on a blood test, so I'm not exactly sure why. Alright, Frequent urination can be a sign of adrenal fatigue, low cortisol. Try adding minerals to water. Yes, I added pink sea salt to all my drinking water. Try that. That's a recommend by Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum. Recommends adding pink sea salt to your water when you have adrenal fatigue. There you go. I did do that. I drink so much water. Do you work now? No, I'm at college 4 days a week. I'm looking to get into a job as soon as possible, right? Did you have a heat intolerance problem when you were ill? Whenever I do something too vigorous, I get hot flush. Apparently, that's a big symptom when it comes to adrenal fatigue. Yeah, it is a symptom of adrenal fatigue. Yeah, I did used to get hot flashes. But I had more of a, I'd say more of a cold intolerance, personally. My hands and feet were always cold. And I would say more of a cold intolerance, personally. Did you ever have eyesight disturbers, floaters? Yeah, loss of eyesight. I had loss of eyesight, especially when standing up. Also, when holding things above my head. And I think those were pot symptoms mainly. I'm really not sure what started it at all. I was highly energetic, intense kid, and then suddenly that intensity went negative in my mind, health spiraled. And that's just it. What's your diet like, Esme? Thoughts on Toby Morrison and other CFS programs? Toby Morrison recommends graded exercise for absolutely everyone, as far as I'm aware, and I completely disagree with him. It depends. I recommend graded exercise when you come into the end of your recovery. You know, when you're at 70, 80% or whatever. A lot of CFS programs are I just think a lot of them are bullshit, just a way of making money. It's very easy to do. You know, you can recover from CFS and go, I have the cure, and people are going to buy it because people are desperate. So it's a way of making money from your problem. I personally can't do that. I think I did the rocking thing to get attention from my mum when I was little. Okay, I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not even going to go there. I won't pretend that I know, Esme. I won't pretend. Why everything is uncertain about CFS. Some people don't have symptoms. For example, you said I don't have sore throat. I also don't have fibro and joint pain. Yeah, exactly. These people sell programs as if they have the cure for everyone, but they can't know the cure for everyone because everyone's different. The only time I had a sore throat was when I got glandular fever December that's gone. That was horrible. I couldn't even drink. It was like razor blades. Yeah, I was tested for diabetes because of my first, but always came back negative, yeah. Maybe it's just adrenal fatigue. You say you're very stressed. You see, when you're stressed, it doesn't matter how, like, obviously eating a better diet helps, but when you're stressed, it's like, you know, you're not in that healing state, so you're not really healing. How did I keep hopeful during recovery? Just realizing it was my life on the line, and if I didn't do everything I did to recover, I could live my whole life with this, and that would have been my life. Illness, that would have been it, and then I'd be dead, and that would be it. End of story. And I couldn't let that happen. Joe Rogan, he did a podcast about being you're the hero in your own movie, and I kind of saw my life like that. Every day was like I'm like Rocky, but for recovering from chronic fatigue and ME and fibromyalgia and everything. And I was like doing everything I could, just disciplined, doing everything one after the other. You know, I'd go through periods where I just was kind of like, I just copy what my dog did sometimes, where he would just like, obviously not licking his balls, but he would rest all the day. And if I said the word walkies, he was ready to go. I always wondered why that was. And then I thought, you know, dogs rest all the time. Maybe we don't rest enough even when you're not ill. Do you know what I mean? And did you write down each day when to rest? No, I didn't. I didn't write down. I don't think I wrote down anything during recovery. I didn't expect to recover in the space of time that I did. I just knew that I needed to know for my own sanity and peace of mind that I was doing everything I could so that I couldn't whine about. Like, I couldn't whine knowing that there was something I could be doing. Bless, I'm sorry I had years of counselling, but because of this illness is so specific, I find this the best place to talk about these things. Sorry, it's no problem. It's what it's here for. As per your recovery experience, which food will you consider the most calming while recovering from adrenal fatigue? Probably bananas, because they're filled with potassium and it's a healthy carb, and yeah, probably something like bananas, or sweet potato, broccoli, beans. Those were my 4 main foods, probably. Oh, what do you want to do for work? Will it be in the health service? In health advice? Probably not. I don't see how I can. You can't go traditional route, because like, if you want to be a dietitian in the NHS, you have to follow their guidelines, and I disagree with them. They still recommend 4 servings of dairy a day. Do I still go to bed early? Absolutely. You know, when I don't, I'm like, I feel it. Even now, I feel it. Like, I'm not going to say I feel it in the sense that I feel fatigued and fibromyalgia. You know, I don't have those symptoms anymore. You know, I can still get up. Like, if I go to bed at 1 in the morning, I can still get up and go for a run if I want to. But I love how it makes me feel when I get up early. It makes me feel good. I feel better for the rest of the day. The rest of the day is more productive. Everything's better when I get up early and go to bed early. How long has it been since you recovered? Probably nearly 2 years now. I was thinking about, like, stopping this channel completely, because the last few times I've done Q&As, I felt like people have asked me questions, and I felt like I've not really been in the space to answer them, because I've recovered 2 years ago, and I'm not in the same space as I was at the beginning. It's not as fresh in my mind. But this chat, I felt like, I've come back a bit. Yeah, definitely can be more relaxed about it. I don't have to be religious. I just know that it's good for me. What do you think about organic grass-fed meat? You know, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. I do my own thing, and that is what the people I watched that had recovered drastically changed their lives and went plant-based. And there's so much research supporting the benefits of plants. There's no negative, like, impact to your health from it. But as for, like, grass-fed meat, obviously it's better than factory farm stuff, but at the same time, there's a whole other element to it. It depends on what you believe in as well. There's the whole element of, I didn't want something else to suffer needlessly for me to get my nutrition if I didn't otherwise need to. There was that impact of it, like, you know, because I was in a desperate place. I've been vegetarian my whole life. I ate meat for 2 weeks. I was desperate. I know what it feels like to. I was vegetarian my whole life. That's all I knew, and even I was eating chicken on the bone for those 2 weeks. So there's the other impact of that animal. Yeah, you don't really know what's. For example, when that animal is being hung up and strung, and its throat slit, that body is releasing huge amounts of cortisol, because it's in fight or flight. It's going to die. It's going to release all the adrenaline it can into the body. Now, if you're suffering from adrenal fatigue, and you're eating that product, you're getting all the hormones that that animal had. And I was just going through so much research, taking so many different examples. I experimented with eating meat. You know, I listened to Daniel Vitalis, and he was going on about how veganism is a new age fad and it's never been done before. And it was playing on my mind. I was like, man, I've been vegetarian my whole life. Like, maybe that's the reason I'm ill. You know, maybe you need meat. Maybe you need it to be strong. And it was going through my head, and I was like, I can't get it out of my head. I need to just get it out of the way and see what happens. And obviously there was a massive chance for placebo to play an effect there, but it just didn't. I didn't feel that much different. I didn't feel different. I was expecting a difference. Obviously, you know, expecting a huge change from one different thing in your life is silly, but I never tell people you can't recover if you don't eat gluten, dairy, but you eat meat. I don't say that because I know that people do recover on a paleo diet. I'm not going to discredit that. That happens. That's true. Look at Dr. Sarah Myhill. She recommends it. But the impact of something suffering needlessly when they don't need to for my nutrition, that's personally what it did for me. It was a moral decision. I don't believe that eating a bit of meat once a week would have changed my recovery. I wouldn't have recovered if I ate a piece of meat once a week. For me, it's a moral decision more than anything else. So if you are one of these people that eat it once a week, I'm not going to tell you that's going to hinder your recovery, because it can't be true. There are people that recover on a Paleolithic diet. But what do all these diets have in common? No gluten, no dairy, no refined sugars, you know, little to no refined sugars at the very least, no refined oils and stuff at the very least, you know? Do you still go to bed early? How long has it been? Do you have sinus pain, pressure? Right now I have sinus problems. It's pissing me off, you know? I went like a week or two ago, I had a vegan junk food blowout, went to a pizza place that only did vegan pizzas, ate pizza, garlic bread, cheesy chips, burger with a bat, and I feel like I'm paying the price for it. But I will say this, is that I don't get affected from those blowouts nearly as much that I did a year ago. The longer I go with my general health, I can get away with things that I wouldn't have been able to get away with before. Any ideas for very easy activities to do during the day that keep you sane? Even reading is too much right now. Audiobooks, light-hearted entertainment. I always recommend that. I had a rule of not being on my computer until at least 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Things that make you laugh. I used to do things like dry brushing, also rebounding, like someone said. I've never mentioned that before. You know, just relaxation in general. When I was really bored, I would play like there was a card game on the computer that I used to play, Hearthstone. You know, because it wasn't engaging and it wasn't draining. How to take care of weight gain while recovering. I was a skinny guy, and now I'm fit midsection. How to handle this? Wait until you're fully recovered till you deal with that. That's my recommendation. I gained weight during recovery as well. It's understandable. You're changing your diet around. You're very stagnant. You're not moving much. When you recover, you are more than likely, am I right in saying so, probably going to start exercising again. I wanted nothing more. And you can see my transformation video. I lost the weight and more. Thanks for the comments, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to stop the channel, you know. I go times where I don't upload. You know, I'm trying to get all my coursework for this course done before December. And I'm on the way to doing that. So a lot of time I'm doing my getting my work out of the way as well. What's your experience with going totally plant-based and testosterone? I've had a testosterone check, and it was at the mid to high range, like it was over the mid range. So that's me being vegan like over 3 years now. And vitality wise, like Obviously, I had a slump in December because I caught glandular fever and I had tonsillitis. But my vitality, you know, it was through the roof. Like, I felt like a kid again. More so last year when I was kept to my routine, like eating really healthy, gluten-free, bed early, waking up early, my exercise routine. I felt like a kid. Endless energy. How long did it take you to start noticing changes with healthy diet and routine? Probably 3 or 4 or 5 months. Physical energy started coming back around the 10, 11, 12 month mark. It was at the very end. Waking up more fresh in the mornings is the key sign to knowing you're doing the right thing. How do you feel about detox dudes? You should do a double video. You two are my heroes. Detox dudes, I've never heard of them. Have you followed the rave diet? I don't know what the rave diet is. Is that where you pop LSD and magic mushrooms every day? You're the only one I know that used vegan whole food diet as the one to help heal. I can't find anyone else unless it's raw. Thanks so much. That's interesting because a lot of the people that I listened to were on the whole food diet, vegan diet. That's where I got my ideas from. Like Arnold's Way, there were guys with like what's it called? Diagnosed Lyme disease, IV antibiotics recovering. Oh, they went on a raw food diet. Yeah, there was a lot on a raw food diet. I wasn't willing to do a raw food diet. I tried it and I wasn't going there, especially in a colder climate. I check your channel to see if there's a new vid all the time, so please don't stop. Do you feel that you were to become very stressed, you would fall back into being sick? What, when I had glandular fever, I shit myself. I was like, oh my god, I'm relapsed and I'm gonna have to tell my YouTube channel that I've relapsed in it. You know, I was shitting myself. But after 3 weeks, all the worst symptoms are gone. I was still feeling a bit fatigued. 2-3 months later, gone, fully recovered from glandular fever. And that's a big reason why many people have come here. It's because they have Epstein-Barr virus or glandular fever. That's like what leads them down that path of feeling awful. Refined sugar is where I fall down. I find hot chocolate too comforting. You know what? If you're gonna have, like, now and again, I would have product. There was this pie, and it had even like 2-3 grams in this pie of sugar. And how I saw it was that it was my treat at like the end of the week to have my pie and with my veg and everything, and it would make my diet doable. You know, it didn't make I never fall back to all the awful foods that I used to eat. So, you know, I personally had refined sugar just a bit now and again, just to keep me like on the path, you know. And as I got more and more on the path and weaned off it, I didn't need it as much, you know. It's very easy to go, right, I found out that refined sugar is bad for me, 100% gone the next day, and go, shit, what do I do to replace this with? Just, if you're moving in the right direction in little ways, it's still good, you know. Obviously, it'd be ideal if you didn't have that, but what I will say is for hot chocolate is that sometimes it can be stimulating because it has theobromine in, especially if it's dark chocolate. But yeah, I appreciate you putting all this info and experience on the net. Lots of wisdom condensed. Thank you so much. Yeah, please don't stop. If you have new ideas, make us a guided meditation. Yeah, people will keep telling me to do this. I need to get around to this. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't have as much time as I did when I first started my YouTube channel, so the content is a lot less, you know, common. Less is more approach. Was that something you were doing? Less is more. Oh yeah, for sure. Please, if I got parasites ones in India and also Guardia, I don't know where I'm not sure what you mean. Rave. No refined foods, no animal products, no vegetables, no exceptions, and exercise. That sounds like a good plan, to be honest. But depending on how severe your problems are, exercise is not a good idea until later on. But depends on the person. I was an old raver. Possibly, you know. Can you still recover without finding the cause of it all? Yeah, of course. Like I don't really know what happened to me. All I know was I was stressed, bad diet, antibiotics for acne, Lyme tick, a tick bit me. I had a BCG injection that I felt atrocious afterwards, and that's when I was 16 and my immune system was really low. I don't know, there's loads of different things that contribute to my downfall. But I didn't have to find out the root cause. It doesn't matter now. It's in the past. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah, don't think about the cause. Just focus on living healthier. Did you get that feeling of lactic acid in the legs? Obviously, I don't know if it's lactic acid. It just feels like it. Well, restless leg syndrome. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then yeah. Finally starting to really dedicate myself towards recovery like you always talk about. Now I realize that it won't be easy. It's not. People listen to my advice and go, that sounds too easy, you know. It's just, and when you put it into practice, you go, this requires a lot of discipline. James, last question, then I'm out. How many hours can you see off straight in a day? I can only sit. I'm not sure what you mean. Sit? Seat off? The parasites I got, all adrenal fatigue. My tests are now negative for parasites, but I still have crazy symptoms. Do you have blurry vision? When I was ill, I used to get blurry vision. I always used to love closing my eyes because my vision was just always a mess. A lot of time people think they have parasites, and there's these bogus tests online, like liver flush and stuff, that, you know, parasite tests, where you give a mixture and then you take it. And I feel like a lot of it's a big scam. But undoubtedly, if you're feeling crazy symptoms, that is probably adrenal fatigue, and you need to just sort your life out completely, like change everything. I often see when people have Lyme disease, they go get drips of medication. Didn't you need any of that? No, I didn't even try. Like, they don't take you seriously in this country when it comes to Lyme disease. Anyway, so I used to just get hope. You know, a part of me used to say in my brain, like, I don't have Lyme disease, just to not feed into it. If this is too much for you with your college work, then don't overdo it on your behalf. You've helped so much already. It's not too much. I just don't have as much time to dedicate towards it. I still don't know what I want to do for a career, but at this point, I'm willing to just accept any kind of apprenticeship just to get in the routine of doing so. I guess anxiety is a huge part of my life now, and wonder if I have to find the cause of it in order to reduce it. No, not necessarily. Like, if you're feeling stressed, your body's in a stressful state and stuff, that is going to cause anxiety. It's no wonder you have anxiety if you're stressed. I'm using your advice to set my foundation on my own. My fear is that I may end up needing help from functional medicine doctors to get fully better later on. Hopefully this takes me far, though. That's what I tell people. You know, if you say you have Lyme's disease, change everything. Make a foundation for yourself. Change absolutely everything. And if you need, like, functional medicine after that, and you've tried everything yourself, go for it. But don't use that as an excuse not to get started, because I know many people do that. I took so many natural treatments for parasites, crazy diet, and also saw things coming at me, but still crazy symptoms. So that happens to so many people, you know. It happened to me as well. I used to think I had parasites. You know, some of these parasite cleanses can be really stressful on the body, especially liver cleanse. But yeah, focus on your diet, sleeping, all those different things. Do you think spicy food would be harmful? I don't know. I didn't eat spicy food during recovery, but I love it now. I really love it. For a few days, I tried eating a raw breakfast, but I suspect it was too much fiber too quickly because my digestive system felt irritated. Hope I can ease into it in the future then. Yeah, you just got to go with how your body feels. I'll close off the stream soon, guys, because I need to do some work. But yeah, if anyone has any more questions, I'll answer them quickly before I go. I'll answer one more question. Yeah, I walk every day. Every morning. I walked at 6:30 or 7 o'clock this morning for an hour with the dog. My adrenals are not from parasites. I got crazy fatigue, but other crazy symptoms like fatigue, blurry vision, stomach pain, sleep problems. How can I know if this is from adrenal? You don't need to know if it's from adrenal. You just need to focus on living healthier. How's your sleep? What's your diet like? Other things like that. Like, don't get too focused on going, I need to know what the cause of my problem is. Look at your life and how you're living and realize that there are things that you can do to benefit your health that you aren't doing, and focus on them. Or I have to still take things to kill parasites, just afraid these kill parasites are doing something worse to my gene. That's my opinion. I think these parasite cleanses are very stressful on the body, especially when you don't have parasites, and you said you had confirmation that you didn't have them. Wouldn't stress yourself out. Some people can get like really stressed into thinking that they have these parasites inside their body, and it stresses them out even more, and you know, it just doesn't do you any good. Oh no, I won't stay up too late. It's no wonder. You have all these problems that you don't have the answer to, and no one's helping you with them. Anyone in that situation will be negative. You have to realize that a lot of people, you know, they come to me and they're depressed. I'm like, what do you expect? If you put anyone in your situation where you're feeling ill and you don't have the answer for, they would feel depressed. They would feel stressed. Don't think too much about it. Just focus on heading in the right direction. But thanks for chat, guys. Thanks for all the questions. I think that's probably one of the best live streams I've done. Good questions. But yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.